Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be discussing about how to get started with IMESH API Gateway. So what are the things we'll be needing to install it? What are the prerequisite that we'll be seeing and how to get started, how to use it that we'll be seeing in this video. Okay, so the steps is few prerequisites are there that we need to follow, and after that we need to register to get started with IMESH API Gateway platform. So prerequisites are like we need to apply a few CRDs that we'll be discussing. Then we need to choose the controllers, which controllers to use. And after that, once those things are done, then we'll be registering our organization and we can start using IMESH platform. Okay. So this is the prerequisite. So we need one cluster, either EKS, GKE, EKS or on-prem. Any Kubernetes cluster is fine. Then we'll be needing hem3 and above. Then we'll be needing a gateway API CRD, which is gateway specification, which we need to have it to make it work, which is Kubernetes Gateway API specification, and it is standard. Controller, any one of the controller we can choose. Currently we support two controllers, Istio and Envoy Gateway. We'll be seeing both how to make it work. Once it is done, then we'll be installing an agent into the cluster and it connects to the cluster and gets the required information so that we can start using the platform. Requirement is very minimal. It takes only 50 milli CPU and 128 MB of RAM agent, and that's enough. So without any further delay, let's get into the getting started video directly. So as I mentioned, we need to first deploy CRD, Gateway API specification CRD, and then we need to choose the controller. So first I'll be installing Gateway CRD. After that, I'll be using Istio as a controller, and later we'll be trying to install Envoy Gateway as a controller as well, and we'll be seeing both in action. Okay, so here is the release of Gateway API specification. This is the latest one. I'm going to install this. We support both experimental and standard, but for this video, as it's just getting started video, we'll be starting with the standard install. So just copy the link and we can run into the cluster. Currently, so I'm having one cluster which is clean. We can see it here. Still get NS. So it's a clean cluster. There's nothing here, and we'll be installing or configuring this cluster. What are the things will be needed to get started? Okay, so let's start kubectl apply F. So this is the standard gateway API CRD we are deploying. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. It will create CRDs. Yeah, so it's done. After that, we need to install any one of the controller. So either Istio or Envoy Gateway. First we'll try with Istio, then we'll try with Envoy Gateway. So for Istio, I'll be installing with istioctl command. So make sure you have this istioctl with you, or you can install with him as well. Istioctl install set profiles equal to minimal. I'm keeping it minimal because I need only STOD, which is a controller, main controller. We don't need anything extra like ingress and all. So only STOD is enough for this, as we are going to use as a API gateway. Okay. So I'm hitting enter. It will install Istio CRDs and STOD. In few seconds it will be done. So let's wait for that. STOD is installed. Fine. Now we are good. So the prerequisite, what we just saw here, I'm using a AKS cluster currently. Gateway API we deployed, then we installed Istio controller. Now we will be seeing how to install this Helm. But before getting into the Helm, we need to register our organization, and there will be getting how to register the cluster. There will be getting command as well. Once we are done with installing the controller, now it's time to register to IMESH API Gateway platform and install the agent. So for that, what will be going is, so what we'll be doing, we need to open one link. So that we need to go to app.imesh.ai. Here we need to click on register, and here we need to give organization ID. So it will be like imesh.ai, so imesh-ai and name, email, AI test. So you can give any password here of your choice. Okay, and then we can register. Yeah, so once it is registered, we can log in. So we had given IMESH-AI that I'm choosing as a organization ID again, and then we need to sign in. For the first time when we are logging in, it will be asking to verify the email address. So that email address, whatever we have given, that need to be a valid email address. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, so we should be getting one verification email in the email address which has been given. So I would have been receiving that. Okay, now we got it. So we can copy the link. We can open in browser to verify it. Let me do it here itself. And we should be able to log in. So once it is verified, it will take to the dashboard. As no cluster and all is there, so we need to add a cluster. So we can click here, we can register cluster, and after that we can start deploying our gateway and routes. So first of all, we need to deploy an agent. For that, we need to register that cluster. Set it here, give any name. I'm giving demo cluster. These are the commands we need to fire in sequence. And this last command is valid for only 5 minutes. So we need to run this command within the 5 minutes. Otherwise it will expire and we need to redo the registration. So as this iMessage sent is already, repo is already added, it's giving this message. We can go ahead and update the repo so that it pulls the latest repo image, and we need to fire this command to install an agent. This is a very minimal agent which interacts with the cluster, and it's kind of a linking between the cluster, like your cluster, and IMESH API Gateway platform. Okay, so if it's already there, let's clean it out. Uninstall agent. And mesh. Okay. Now let's try installing again. Yeah, it got installed. Now if we hit done and if it registered successfully, we should be able to see it here. Yeah. So demo cluster is registered, and now we should be able to interact with the cluster which we just registered. Okay.